Oi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you think, you fuck buckets!
Come on, we needed to clear all this debris yesterday! Are you sure we're digging in the right spot? I have a map! Yeah, and you're looking at it upside down a minute ago. Shut up, Kyle!
Is that really who I think it is? I always wondered what happened to that large army of bees. And it looks like now they're gonna be starting shit in Ducktales. Come on! Hey, asshole! Charge!
No, wait there!
You got some nerve still being alive in front of us. What the devil is going on here? You got some nerve coming to my home, harassing my employees, and putting a dent in their work effort, costing me more money. Well, I just thought we good guys, bees bad guys, and the whole shebang. Now hold on a second. Your workforce here are all war criminals of the MLP fandom. Every single bee here needs to be brought to justice under pony law.
That was because old queen made us do it. Yes, now we follow new queen. New queen.
Ugh, curse me kill, it's not that again. First of all, pony law only exists in the pony fandom, and last I checked, this fandom is filled with ducks, not ponies. Secondly, last I checked, you are not a pony. You are a vermin. And unless you can give me another argument to justify this, I'm gonna have to ask you all to get off my property. Wait, don't you own all of Duckburg? Aye, would you look at that? I do own all of Duckburg. Now, get off my property. Now you listen here, mister. Don't do anything. We don't want to be kicked out of the fandom. Let me see if I can handle this. Scroogey, come on. Both you and I are men of business. Men of deals. Men of social standing. I'm sure we can come up with an arrangement that's mutually beneficial. Are you trying to get me to make a deal with the devil? Yes. Well, I like where this is going. What do you have in mind? Well, I can write all types of numbers on this little checkbook I have here to make this problem go away. No thanks. Increasing the amount of gold will only lower its value. Okay, well then how about this? A potion that can give you everlasting life. I got the location of at least 3 Fountain of Youths on my phone right now. Fire beads that allow you to cast fireballs? A magic coin that's a get-out-of-hell free token? Can we move this along? Time is money, and I don't want to waste either. Well, ain't this a predicament? What are you supposed to offer the guy that already owns everything? My queen! My queen! How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not a queen.
We found another one! We found another one!
Hey, more of this gobbledygook. Just put it with the others. We'll figure out how to translate it eventually. I wouldn't bother with that one. That one just points the directions to a bathroom. Huh? You can read this? Why, yes. Ancient Hebrew. It's practically a second language to me. Or even the second language ever written. I would be more than happy to translate anything and everything that you might have found. But unfortunately, me and my friends are currently forced to get off your property. Is that correct? Oh, you devil. Ha ha! Oh, I think we're in the clear on this one. This is the Great Dime Chase. The episode begins in the McDuck Manor. Scrooge McDuck senses that one of his nephews is lazing about, and when he sees that Louie is taking full advantage of them being rich, he goes, "Oh, hell no! You're coming with me for the day. You're going to learn the value of work ethics." Meanwhile, Dewey has a more important mission to go on, as she tries to sneak into Webby's library of information on the McDuck clan, only to be caught sprinkle-handed. But it was kind of stupid anyway, because she was more than happy to spill the beans on whatever he wanted to know. And what he wanted to know was his mom. But when he mentions the mother, she gets all secretive, and Webby asks what does he exactly know. We get a picture, but nothing else. Apparently, everything involving Della Duck, the mother of Huey, Dewey, and Louie, has been covered up by Scrooge himself, even going as far as to dispose of the mailman because he accidentally delivered mail to the house. And, well, it's a lost cause. Well, almost a lost cause. Webby has a new resource that she didn't have before.
Oh my god, is this actually happening?
The final reveal of Della Duck, the mysteries of the triplets' mother. I gotta get my shipping book. So they all head to the money bin, and from there they split into two groups. Scrooge and Louie taking up the majority of the adventure. So we'll follow them first. So we follow Scrooge and Louie into his office, where they begin to discuss the exciting world of business. And after a few setups, like introducing the money bin, introducing the rare dime, and stopping Louie from jumping to his death, we get the Board of Buzzards, who only seem to care about money and want to cut some of Scrooge's costs. But before that, we get a cameo character from Dr. Gearloose, who introduces a revolutionary new invention to the board, his Bulb Tech, a tiny little robot who may or may not be evil. But who cares about that? It's just set up for down the road. As Scrooge and the Buzzards are talking to each other about, well, quite frankly, the most insulting topic Scrooge has ever been insulted by. Trying to say that Scrooge, of all people, should cut costs. Scrooge, let that sink in.
Wait, back up. You made a robot powered by a light bulb? Forget anything else on the show, this is worthy of a Nobel Prize. You're powering something from something that requires power. How the hell did you do this?
Well, Louie gets immediately bored and decides to go off on his own to get himself a soda. But he's a few dimes short of getting a can. So he borrows Scrooge's special dime and gets a soda out of it, only later returning to hear the backstory of that particular dime, as it wasn't just any old dime, but Scrooge's first dime, the dime that he built his entire corporation on, his number one dime. A dime that is, quite frankly, irreplaceable. Yeah, Louie has the one face that any kid would make when they realize how badly they fucked up. He tries to chase after it, but unfortunately it's taken directly into the coin bin, and Louie doesn't have access to the door, but he sees that the dime is there. So what is a kid to do? Light bulb. He goes up to Dr. Gearloose, who at first doesn't seem to have any time for him, until he mentions he's the nephew. Keep talking. Louie convinces Gearloose to lend him Bulby, since Bulby's hands are perfect for unlocking doors. So after getting Bulby, he goes into the door and chucks the bulb into the coins to search for the dime, while Louie just sits there watching on his cell phone. But the bulb tech, realizing that he's in over his head, begins to improvise, and possibly starts going on a murderous rampage. After getting the dime back, he realizes that Bulby has turned into a super ginormous killer robot of death. Well, maybe that's an over-exaggeration. Clearly, he just wants the dime. Kind of a letdown, though. I mean, seriously? Just a dime. All he wants is the dime. So a giant evil killer robot that only wants to take your nickels. Meow. So, after Scrooge takes advantage of a cameo of the giant robot to get the buzzards to back off cutting his staff, Louie and Dr. Gearloose tag team the robot, trying to get the dime. Gearloose somehow manages to get the robot under control, but not before Louie loses the dime in the money bin. Man, talk about trying to find a needle in a haystack. So anyway, what's Dewey and Webby up to? So Webby and Dewey are on their own adventure, going to the one place where they think they could find answers on the mysteries of Della Duck. The library. More specifically, the archive library, run by Vegeta's Duck OC. No, seriously, that haircut. Just that haircut alone, that's Vegeta's OC. And clearly, she has a problem with Webby, as this clearly isn't the first time she's come. But since she has a descendant of the McDuck clan this time, she's allowed entry into the archive. Webby immediately goes after every book she can get her claws on, but that's not why they're there. They're there for the mystery of Della Duck. But they can only get that if they prove themselves worthy of getting the information that they seek. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So they go about their business. They manage to complete several tests before Dewey has enough and says, "When are you going to tell us about my mom?" And she says, "Only when you prove yourself worthy." And, well, Dewey's not having any of that crap, saying what would happen if he doesn't complete the tests and just gets the information anyway. Which she, well, pulls a Vegeta. Completely batshit crazy loses it. And starts chasing after them with a giant sword. They try to defend themselves by throwing books at her, but the books are not very effective.
Wait, why are you going after me? I don't even read library books!
In the end, Dewey threatens to destroy one of the books to get her to back off, only to discover with further inspection, the book is actually about his mother. He opens the book to discover it's blank. But that is not discouraging, as they have reference numbers. They could go to the section, but once they get there, they discover the books are out of order. And if there's one thing that this crazy archivist is good at, it's keeping things in order. She is a good librarian, even though all the challenges so far have been doing her job, and they point that out. So, they decide to put all the books back into the right order. Meanwhile, while Louie is searching for the dime, and it's a cute race against time as they attempt to all gather their energy, their forces, and, well, Louie gets the dime back just in the nick of time, and everything's set and sound for them. But for Dewey and Webby, with a quick DNA test, they soon discover the mother lode. Pun intended. Yep, everything they could have possibly learned about Della is in this secret room. And soon they discover the next clue on their journey, a secret letter written by Della herself, reading, "Sorry, I've taken the spear of Selene, Della." Another clue for another day. As for Louie and Scrooge, well, he gives them the dime, saying, "Good job for a hard day's work." But wait, isn't it the special dime? Isn't this the one dime that started his company? Of course not. Scrooge ain't that dumb. He keeps the real dime in the safest place he could think of, on his person. That makes sense. So now Louie has the precious dime, and what's the first thing he does to it? Spends it on a soda. Yeah, rinse and repeats. Well, that's where the episode ends, but not where it ends. As we get a nice little cliffhanger. A cliffhanger that might lead us to much further destructive evil down the road. I can't wait to see Project Blatherskite. And that was a great dime chase. It was good. It was actually great even. Yeah, the parts with Scrooge and Louie were pretty predictable by regular cartoon story standards, the idea of learning the value of a hard day's work, but in this day and age I can't help but feel like that lesson needs to be taught, repeatedly, on stereo. But let's be honest, everybody cared more about the story between Dewey and Webby. Yeah, they make a great team, surprisingly. I mean, Webby being antisocial, but at the same time, completely, well, Webby. While Dewey having almost no experience in the adventuring department, but understands the basics of human interaction a lot better. They make a good duo.
It was also an introduction to Dr. Gearloose and how he's perceived. Normally, in the old show, he was just a good-natured scientist who'd goof up just as much as he would be an asset. Here, he's an actual person.
You want to talk about an actual person? Vegeta's OC is one of the best characters. Way more memorable. I think we can all get behind crazy librarians and mad scientists. And I can appreciate a series that gives us some answers, but also a lot more questions. Why is Scrooge covering up Della's disappearance? And what happened to her? What is the Spear of Selene? And does it have anything to do with the lucky dime? Who knows? We may never know. Or we could have spoiled it for us and watch it ahead of time. But regardless, this was a passable episode that sets many things up for the future. From the dime, to the duck, to Project Blatherskite. I can't wait to see what comes. The rest of the text that we found are in here. I'll check back with you when you're done.
I wouldn't bother leaving. This probably won't take too long, and, oh boy.